St. George's and her right of reply.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank, on behalf of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, I want to thank my colleagues in the NDP and the Bloc parties for supporting this motion, which is of vital importance, not just to the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, but to all throughout our country and in other parts of the world who work offshore in Newfoundland and Labrador. I also want to thank the member for Burlington for his contribution to the debate, because I couldn't agree more in terms of the importance that search and rescue provides throughout our country, and how valuable the service is and how dedicated those who work in search and rescue are. I have some issues though with the comments made for the member for Edmonton Centre, and it is to those comments that I want to speak this afternoon, because I think they need to be rebutted. First and foremost, he indicated that he appreciated the way that I spoke to this issue with sincerity and emotion, and he's absolutely right. I am sincere about this, and it is a very emotional issue. It is an emotional issue for the hundreds who work offshore in Newfoundland and Labrador. It's also an emotional issue for the families of those individuals, and it is an emotional issue for the businesses who are involved. So yes, it is an issue that we all feel deeply about, and I make no excuses for that. In fact, the level of fear among those who work offshore is something that we really need to take into account when we're deciding whether or not how we're going to vote on this particular motion. And I know from speaking to people offshore, people who are familiar with what happened back when 84 lives were lost, when we had a fixed platform that toppled and we saw 84 people lose their lives. I know about the fear that's being expressed today by family members of those who died in the helicopter crash just a short while ago. And I've heard the lone survivor, Mr. Robert Decker, speak about his ordeal. I've heard the father of the young lady who survived the crash but subsequently drowned, wondering whether or not if search and rescue had reached her in a timely manner, if in fact she would be alive today. But those who work in the industry refer to something called the golden hour. It is the first hour after an accident or a sinking at sea. And they say if people are not spotted or rescued in that first hour, their situation will begin to deteriorate very quickly. Now that points to the need of ensuring that we have adequate search and rescue facilities close to the oil fields, close to where accidents do occur. Madam Speaker, it's not just in the oil industry. And as my colleagues have said already today, we're talking about the fishing industry, we're talking about the tourism industry, we're talking about the trade export industry where ships are involved. The issue here is an issue that affects all of us. And for anyone to suggest, as the member for Edmonton Centre did the last time we spoke to this motion when it was introduced in the House, that resources are an issue, whether or not we can afford this because resources are limited. I find that somewhat unsettling, because when you look at how money is being spent today in this country, when you look at the amount of money that's being spent on the Canada Action Plan, for instance, the amount of money that's being spent on signage, that is a serious issue for me. When you can look at that, waste that kind of money, and then on the other hand you can say we do not have the resources to enhance the search and rescue capabilities in Newfoundland and Labrador, or I would expect anywhere else in the province for that matter, because I'd hate to think they're singling out Newfoundland and Labrador. The point here, Madam Speaker, is that the government has to rethink its position here. They have to join with the NDP, with the Bloc, and with the Liberals and support this motion. This is too important to be looked at as something that there aren't enough resources to make this happen. To suggest, as the member for Edmonton Centre did, that we can't relocate resources when no one is asking for resources to be relocated. In fact, we're saying that the resources right now in Gander need to be upgraded to 24/7. We're suggesting that the search and rescue operation in Gander needs to be enhanced. no way, at no time have we ever suggested that the resources from Gander be reallocated to St. John's. On the contrary, we need to enhance the search and rescue capabilities in Newfoundland and Labrador.